Of course, if you're a football fan, you know the basic rules of the game. You know a bookable offense, you know when a penalty should be awarded, you know when a player is offside. You know all those basic rules of the game. But what if I told you that there are some rules you probably never heard about? Here are 10 football rules you didn't even know existed. And for number 10, we'll start with the offside rule. Of course you know that. To be determined onside, an attacking player has to have at least one opposing defender ahead of him at the time the ball was played to him. But did you know that the attacking player can have just one opposing defender ahead of him and still be offside? If the goalkeeper vacated his post and is behind the attacker, then there would need to be two defenders in front of the attacker for him to be onside. And to simplify things, the offside rule is at the time of the ball is played to the attacker, there should be at least two players between him and the goal. So, in a standard situation, that's the goalkeeper and the last defender. But if the keeper's out, then you need two defenders. Get it? Number 9's a little less complicated and more straightforward. So, you do know that a goalkeeper can't handle a back pass, right? As a goalkeeper, when your own defender passes you the ball with his leg, you're not allowed to pick up the ball. However, if they pass with their head or chest, it's okay to pick it up. So, you would think an easy hack around would be to perhaps use your leg to flick the ball up so you can head it back to your keeper. Or maybe lying flat on the ground to head it back instead of kicking it. Well, no actually, you're not being smart, you stupid dumbass. You're simply violating the rules. It's a foul if you try to circumvent the back pass rule by using a deliberate trick. The number 8 rule you didn't know existed has to do with penalty shootouts. So the rule states that the number of players on both sides has to be equal before a shootout can commence. That is, if a side, for example, picked up a red card during the game, the opponents will have to drop one player from their own lineup for the shootout in order to balance things up. The player dropped will therefore not be able to stand with the rest of the 10 at the center circle. This famously happened in the 2006 World Cup and the 2008 Champions League final. Can you name the players that were sent off and the players the other team had to drop? Let me see how good your knowledge of football history is in the comments. Speaking of penalties, that leads us to the number 7 rule. A player is not allowed to take more than one touch of the ball when playing a penalty. Okay, let me paint a scenario for you. If a player takes a penalty and the ball hits the bar and bounces back to him, he's not allowed to touch the ball again unless another player touches it first. So in this scenario, he's clear to touch the ball if, for example, it was the keeper who punched the ball to the bar and it then ricocheted back to him. Another scenario is when a player slips before taking the penalty. If you slip and mistakenly touch the ball twice, the penalty is canceled and you don't get a retake. This same rule applies for other set pieces, that is, free kicks and corner kicks. And number 6 is the 6-second rule. And it's one rule that you're seriously gonna doubt exists because nobody really sticks to it. It's the rule that says a goalkeeper is not allowed to be in possession of the ball for more than 6 seconds. If the keeper violates this rule, the referee is allowed to award an indirect free kick to the opponents. But like I said, refs hardly follow this rule to the letter. And you can check it out for yourself with the next game you watch. Keepers almost always hold the ball for more than 6 seconds, and absolutely nothing happens. The referees only seem to become aware of this rule during the dying minutes of games, when the goalkeeper's team has had a lead or a point to protect. Up next is another rule no referee actually abides by. So, the number 5 rule you never knew existed is the one that states that it actually is the referee's responsibility to get a pitch invader off the field of play. Wait, the ref? Not the stewards? Because every time I've seen someone run onto the pitch to disrupt the game, it's always been the stewards running after them. In fact, I've actually even seen players do more to stop pitch invaders than refs. I thought the match's officials were supposed to be the ones enforcing the rules. How come it's them now that aren't abiding by the rules? But the number 4 rule is one refs never fail to enforce. Apparently, there's a limit to the number of red cards a team can receive in a game, and that limit is 4. If one team gets more than 4 red cards in one game, then the referee is going to have to stop the game, and usually, that means a 3-0 win will be awarded to the other team. The parent law of this rule is that a team has to have at least 7 players on the pitch at all times. So, if, for example, a team has used up their substitutions and a combination of sent-off and injured players amounts to less than 7 players on the pitch, the game is going to be forfeited. Also, per this rule, a game can start 7 versus 11 if for any reason the other team can't field 11 players. And don't ask me if it's fair. I don't make the rules. But you know a rule that's definitely fair? The one that says you can't score an own goal from a free kick. And that's number 3 on the list today. And now you may not know about this one because honestly, how many times players have turned around to kick the ball into their own net from a free kick? It's definitely few and far between, if none at all. But well, this rule, it's just there in case a player decides to make an awful mistake one of these days. You also can't score an own goal straight from a throw-in, so if you throw the ball to your keeper and he somehow fails to touch the ball and lets it roll into the net, it won't count. In both cases, a corner kick's going to be awarded to the opponents. It feels like a bit of a FIFA glitch, this one, doesn't it? Kind of a head scratcher. Now, the number 2 rule you didn't know about has to do with dress code, and of course, FIFA's concerned about players' jerseys and their kit in general. Only that this particular rule, it's not about the jerseys, but it's what's under them, you know? It's on the inside, down there. Yep, it's a rule about the undergarments you're wearing. Not your briefs, you know, those biking shorts that a lot of players like to wear. The rule is that these shorts have to be the same color as the main shorts of the team. If it's a different color, you're not allowed on the pitch. Have you noticed that the 4th official does a check where players raise their shorts before they're allowed onto the pitch? That's one of the things they check for. Now to number 1. Apparently, the center referee isn't supposed to allow a penalty to be played if the goalkeeper is hitting the posts. Of course, you've seen so many times when goalkeepers hit the crossbar or the upright to try to make the penalty taker a little nervous. Well, apparently that's illegal. Color me surprised, man. The law states that the post shouldn't be shaking when a penalty's taken. Therefore, the keeper shouldn't be allowed to hit him. But in all my years of watching football, I've never even seen a ref as much as delay a penalty kick because of this. So, is it possible that even the refs aren't even aware of this one? Well, that's an interesting thought. That's for you to decide. Write it down in the comments if you think so too. You know what else is interesting? Watching football rookies go head-to-head against absolute legends.